entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey Fonville-Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Shout outs to all of you watching live. I'm looking around because I had a client ask me, I think it was last week or this week. Well, yeah, it was last week. Today's Monday. She was asking me about StreamYard and integrating Instagram. And if y'all remember, the ones who know, some months ago when it came out, because back in the day, StreamYard, which is the platform I use to be able to stream to the different platforms. I'm not a gatekeeper. I let you guys know. StreamYard is great. Restream is great. Ecamm is great. But anywho, StreamYard decided to get with the program and start letting us stream to Instagram. But when I tried it, it was a hot mess. And so I didn't do it for a nice little bit. So I'm looking over because I decided to try it again. One of my other clients, actually, I saw that they were using it. So, okay, they're using it pretty good. Let me go back, because oftentimes there's kinks. They're trying different things and they have to see, work out the bugs. So I said, let me give it another shot. So today we are live in our private Facebook community. Shout out to you guys. I will always be live in the private community, so you never have to worry like, oh no, where she's going to go somewhere else. We're also currently live on Instagram and we're live on LinkedIn. Don't fret though, if you're somebody who usually watches on the personal page, if you're watching this, the replay, or YouTube or anywhere else you might catch this, we still will put the replays everywhere. But if you want to be live with us, the best way to do that is definitely by making sure you are in our private community. If you're watching from someplace else right now and you want to get in the private community and don't know how, just put add me in the comment section of this video and we will go back and we will send you a link so that you can join the private community. It's completely free. I think we're over 1,400 deep in there, coaches, consultants, speakers, and authors, all doing business on a tight budget. So if that sounds like you and you're interested, again, just put add me or private community, put something in the comment section so that we can go ahead and get you in there. A few little housekeeping things before we dive in tonight. First, there were several of you that were in the private community, I do believe, who got an email giving you access to one of our older summits, right? It's 8+ hours of amazing content, some extra resources on everything that we covered in a summit a couple years ago. I think it was 2022. Great information stuff that's still relevant. There's like a Canva training in there. There's some sales coaching in there, some business fundamental things, some marketing strategy things in there. There's tons and tons of content. But for some reason, our system put you in the wrong product. I just downloaded, I think it was almost 200 of you. We will be switching you over. So just bear with us. There'll be another email because I know some people did reach out. I manually switched you guys who reached out via email. I think I got you all, so thank you for your patience. But there were, like I said, probably close to 200 folks that went into the wrong product. And so we will manually put you into that free summit so that you can enjoy a year's access to that material. All right, look, I have my little notes here. So that'll be done if you're in the private community, more than likely this will relate to you and not anyone else. But if you sent us an email over the weekend, well, probably Friday too, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, again, bear with us. For some reason, there was an influx. And, God is good, but there was an influx in emails and things. So we are getting through your emails. I have been going today, and I'll work some more tomorrow. So you will get a response today or tomorrow if you reached out. So again, thank you for your patience. Also, just a reminder, because this is our last Monday Night Live of March. I can't believe it. This is the end of the first quarter of the year. That's crazy. But I talked about it last Monday Night Live, that in the past we did something where people could earn what's called hot seat coaching sessions, which was free, like 30-minute coaching sessions with me. If you're in the private community, you actually can go to the guide section and check out some of those past um, little coaching hot seat type things. I don't even think they were called hot seats. What were they called? Um, Oh, they were called hot seat coaching. Yeah. So they're in there in the guide section. But instead of doing that, we're gonna try doing Q&As instead up here. Just because and be in all honesty, back in the day I had more time. Nowadays I just don't have time to give away tons of free coaching sessions to, one-on-one people. But what I can do is do Q&A. So at the end of all of our Monday Night Lives, starting in April. So starting next, well, no, not next week, because next week y'all are gonna be pre-recorded. I'm going on a little vacation with the kiddos. This is our spring break. So the second week in April, starting the second week in April, if you're engaged on our Monday Night Live, we will have a time for Q&A at the end. And this is the time to shoot your shot. So if you have questions about business fundamentals, marketing or sales, regardless of the topic we're covering, at the end I will open it to Q&A and you can comment your question. You can even comment with a link if you want me to look at something, and I will be happy to give you guys feedback as time allows. I think that that's a great way for us to have more of a back and forth conversation, and for you guys who are really engaged in this kind of content, give you guys a chance to get some of your questions answered. I don't want to just be talking at you. So again, if you send an email, we got you. We're working on it. If you got into that, it said like 2023 summit, we were going to do the summit, we didn't. So that's what happened. People ended up in the 2023 and they were supposed to be in the 2022. We will switch you guys over. And then shout outs to our new Q&A sessions coming. So all you have to do is show up 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Monday, stay to the end, and then we'll have Q&A. You can have your questions ready. I do ask that you leave them to the end because I don't want to miss your questions if they come while I'm talking, but I'll try to catch everybody I can. Anywho, let's get into tonight. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about, where are my notes? There they go. Overcoming barriers, strategies for women in business. I'm going to miss these talks. We talked about women all month in the month of March because it was Women's History Month. We started off the month talking about some amazing women business owners that I had the pleasure of working with and coaching. We then went into talking about, We then went into talking about, let me look. I got all my little notes here because that was not, no, went too far. Where'd it go? We talked about leadership. We talked about networking and collaborations. And today we're going to just get down and dirty and be transparent and talk about barriers, specifically barriers that women entrepreneurs face. I think because so oftentimes it's not talked about. And tonight I just want to shed a little light, and not to end on a down note, because we're going to definitely talk about how to overcome these barriers. But I think it's important to name them. I always encourage my clients to do what's called a SWOT analysis, right? Every year it talks about your strengths, your weaknesses, room for opportunities, and then your threats to your success. And these barriers are threats. They are outside of your business. They're threats to your success. But if you know that they're there, you can put things in place to combat them. So that's what we're doing. We're arming ourselves here in this first quarter of the year to make sure that we do indeed achieve the goals that we've set out to achieve. All right, but before we dive in, I always like to do a little intro. So for those of you who don't know, I Rock Marketable Business Solutions is the company that sponsors these amazing Monday Night Lives. Shout outs to us. But at I Rock Marketable Business Solutions, we're dedicated to helping coaches, consultants, and other small business owners achieve their goals and unlock their full potential. Right? Sounds a little open, but that's true to what we do. We really are about you defining what success is for you, and then us giving you the tools and strategies to get there. Right? We are here to empower small business owners by helping them accomplish, like I said, their goals. But we also really value keeping your budget constraints in mind, understanding what your current skill set is, and understanding what resources are currently available to you first before we ask you to go and buy new things, go and do this and do that. We look and say, where are you now? What do we have available to us? Let's optimize that first, and then let's build out. You could ask, anybody who's worked with me in the past, that is our motto. So many times I've had clients come to me and say, well, I invested in this program, but then they wanted me to spend, $5,000 more a month on X, Y, and Z. And so I couldn't even do the program effectively. And I'm like, that's not us. We really do. We have a very detailed conversation before you work with us, especially on the coaching side. And we really say, hey, what do you already have? What are you already using? How are you using it? We optimize that, and then we say, here are some gaps that we need to cover, and this is some recommendations. But even on the marketing side, I had a new client reach out to me. She has a website. She's already paid for the website. She's already paid for the domain. And she's like, hey, I really want a rebranded website. Do I have to pay for a whole new hosting and domain? I was like, no, we're going to take what you got. We're going to flip it, make it amazing for you, and you're good to go. She was so relieved, because we are not about making people spend money they don't need to spend time on things they don't need to spend time on. We're about optimizing where you are now and building on that. And for those of you who do not know me, I know I've been talking for like 10 minutes and I haven't mentioned my name, but I am Corey Fonville Foster. I'm the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions. I'm also a speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm a certified business coach. And I'm just super excited to be able to be a small part of a lot of your journeys to having amazing, successful businesses. I talk about my story like every other Monday Night Live, and I've already been talking, so I won't get into how I got into business. But if you ever want to chit chat, definitely reach out to me, and I can definitely tell you my story and how I got here and how I do what I do. All right. If you don't know some of the things that we offer at iRock, this isn't to sell you anything, but I always think it's important, because sales is a service, to let you know what we do offer in case you need it. We offer coaching anywhere from power hour coaching, group coaching, webinars, courses, all the way up to one-on-one coaching. We have done with you in mind consulting. So if you have a larger organization or a business that needs support, especially around the areas of leadership, and optimizing your full potential, then we are definitely here for that. If you need marketing services, anywhere from a logo, website, all the way to full social media management, we can support you there. And then we also have VAs that are here, trained and ready to go when you're ready to grow out your team. Woo, fair enough? All right, let's go ahead and get into the talk for tonight. No slides. I've been over slides a little bit, y'all. I know some people are just visual, but making those slides is a bit tiresome. So we're going to skip it. You get to see my face today. And then hopefully this will encourage you to also remember, comment, engage with me. Let me know you're here, so that we can have a little bit of interaction. But anywho, so we're talking about overcoming barriers, right? Specifically for women in business. And I know that if you are not a woman in business, you may say, well, what's the difference? Well, there are some differences. Now, there are some things that lots of people face, but when it comes to women specifically, there are some added barriers, some added challenges that we face, that I want to go over tonight. And then I will also put a caveat on this. I definitely understand that I'm also a woman of color, and so on top of these lovely challenges, we specifically, women who identify brown, black, what have you, have an added layer of fun challenges that we also get to overcome, and put in our rearview mirror. So we're going to be transparent about that. If there is a challenge that I don't mention that you think, y'all, who else is going through this, go ahead and comment it in the comment section, because I'm sure that I can't talk about every single one, but I'm sure that you guys have experienced some things that you would love to share, and that we would love to hear about, and feel the same, like, yes, I see you, you're seen, because I'm sure that you guys have had some interesting experiences. We're going to say interesting. All right, but the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to women in business is this idea of we having, like, we're always trying to balance life, right? Personal, business. I don't think that men have to. Oh, and also, these are my opinions. Even though technically I did do research, these are still my opinions. I don't want people to be like, this don't apply to me. If it don't, lucky you. But anywho, I think a lot of women in business really struggle with having this feeling of having to balance personal and business life. And I think it's a difference between men, because I definitely, even on the very surface level, when I've had men come in for consultation calls, and I go out, I do my little spiel and I tell them the numbers. A lot of times they're like, all right, here you go. Like, they don't think twice. And it's crazy, but women are like, okay, let me think about it, or let me go check, or let me, talk to my husband, or let me look at the account. There's always this moment of like, let me make sure this ain't gonna jack us up beforehand, where men 99% of the time are like, swipe the card. I've also worked, and collaborated with men who have told me their stories about how they use their last dime to start their business. They couch surfed and all these things. Whereas women are like, I got to feed my kids. They have to have a certain level of lifestyle that my kids are accustomed to, where I'm not going to be, putting them in harm's way to live my dream. I don't know about you guys. That movie, what was it? Was it The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith? And I remember people being like, oh my God, that's such an amazing story. In my mind as a mother, I was like, that's child abuse. That's child abuse. Like, at least child neglect. Like, if you watch the movie, Will Smith character has the potential to be like this Wall Street, I don't know, money making dude, right? But he has a young son. His wife has left him. Also, his wife left him, it seems like, because he made poor business choices. He was trying to, in the beginning, sell this machine that nobody wanted. Let's be clear. So she left him. She went about her business. She shouldn't have left her kid, but that's a case for another story. But the part that irks me about the movie is this man is applauded throughout the movie and seen as an inspiration when he goes for his dream no matter what. Now, some of the parts of the movie are great. Like, he loses a shoe, he still works. He, finds ways out of nowhere. He does all the hard work. But while this is happening, his son is sleeping in the train. His son is sleeping in the bathroom floor. They're sleeping in a crappy hotel. Like, his son is going through trauma while he's in the pursuit of happiness. And I think that if it would have been a woman instead of the Will Smith character, it would definitely have read very easily child neglect, even though she would have been doing the same thing. And so I think for women, there's just this level of bias, that we are supposed to put our family at the forefront, which I don't mind. But then it also makes us struggle because we find ourselves kind of in a battle of saying, am I doing enough for my kids? Am I doing enough for my family? Is this worth, this? Should I just go work this job that I hate to provide for my family, even though I'm not happy, even though I'm not fulfilled? Right? Should I go sit at my kid's soccer game because I should be there, or should I be working? And I don't think, like I said, men feel the same or have that same kind of burden placed on them. And so like I said, this is just about being transparent. If you felt this struggle, like Monday nights, right now, my son is in Boy Scouts. I miss almost all Boy Scout meetings because I do these Monday Night Lives. And that was one of the main reasons I was thinking about moving them to a different day. But then I said, you know what? My husband, I have my son all day. I'm a homeschool mom. It's his time to get tapped in. And I'm like, hey, it's your turn. I do all the daytime activities. If it's like a big event, I definitely still go. If it's a weekend special thing, I go. I even went camping with the Boy Scouts one time. I was out in the woods for like days. Oh my God, the kids do not shower. It's the weirdest thing. But I went. I was the mommy. I went. But yes, I have a whole husband. Why can't he take him to Boy Scouts so that I can do this one thing that I wouldn't do for my business? And so don't feel bad. There are going to be times when you want to put your business first, and there are definitely going to be times when you put your family first. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just realize that this is a thing, right? The biggest thing about challenges is to name them, to say, hey, they exist. Yes, I feel mommy guilt. You know what I mean? I feel wife guilt. I know that I've talked to clients in the past and I tell them about how I meal prep on Sundays, and they're like, oh my God, my husband might feel some type of way that I'm not cooking him dinner. Well, my husband is a whole adult. If he doesn't like what I cook, he's happy to, he can make it himself. I don't know if he'd be happy to, but he can make it himself. I feel content in the fact that I provided nourishing meals. They're home cooked meals. They're there when they're ready to eat. But if I had to cook every day, it would take too much time away from me trying to do business on top of everything else I do. And so that's something that, I put in place. And, I told my husband not only that I was going to do it, but why I was going to do it. And he was fine and he was supportive. That may not be the case for all. But again, when I'm trying to strike a decent balance, that's something that I did to kind of mitigate that challenge of saying, okay, I do want to cook for my family, right? I don't want to be a housewife, but I wanted to cook for my family. So I provide the meals, but I don't cook them every day. I want to spend time with my family, but I don't do it on Mondays. My son does jujitsu Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Oftentimes I am not able to go because I'm working with clients in the evenings. But what do? If I am available, I do sometimes go. He had a tournament. I shut down the office for a day. We went and enjoyed the tournament, made a big deal of it. I also check him out because the dojo puts it on Facebook. I watch it. I comment. Like, they know I'm actively paying attention. I ask him how he's doing. I stay very involved, whether I'm physically there or not. And so, again, don't have mom guilt about it. Talk to your family. Communication is really going to be great. To talk to them and say, this is why I do what I'm doing. How do you feel about it? Do you have any other suggestions? And try to strike somewhat of a balance. I don't think it's ever going to be 50-50, where you can say, I'm going to work on my business 50% and I'm going to give my family 50%. There are just going to be times when family is more important, and there's going to be times when work is more important. And we just have to be okay with that. All right, something else that we as women often face when we are in business is the unequal access to funding, right? And that can be for various reasons. It could be because you've been a housewife for many, many years, and so you haven't built up your own credit. It could be because, there's just a lot of money that goes to men. That's just what it is. It just is what it is. You may also just not have the knowledge when it comes to investing or getting access to certain funding. Now, one thing I will say is that luckily people realize that was a challenge, and there's so many people, women and men, who are trying to teach women more about how to get access to funding. I know even in our private community, we have Denise in there. Let me tag her because I always forget how to say her last name. But Denise is in the group, and that's literally what she does. She helps you learn how to get more lines of credit and get more funding. We also, coming up in the podcast, and that was one of my housekeeping things. The podcast, the new season 3, will be launching, I believe, at the end of the week, or the beginning of next week, actually. So the beginning of April. Check out the podcast. But in season 3, and I believe, and in season 4, we have women that came on talking about funding, merchant accounts, investments, and something else. So we got some women coming in to talk about these things. But I just want to be honest again and transparent and say that yes, there is an unequal access to funding for small business owners, but there is money for women if you know where to go. I know that if you have your when you have it that your own your small business owned by a woman, you also have access to some additional funding. Lord, my brain died, y'all, but y'all get what I'm saying. There are some things that are available to you, grants that are available to you, and other opportunities. So definitely lean into those. But education is going to be important. Learn how to get access to funding, because yes, traditionally women were not privy to this information, so there still is a gap in our knowledge, a gap in our access to funding, which makes it harder for us to have these businesses. It's so crazy sometimes when I talk to potential clients of mine, and a lot of them are in education. So they're leaving education, or they're leaving a corporate space where they work 9 to 5. They were taught to grind, taught to work hard. And then I go and I talk to individuals who have like these big startups where they're like, oh yeah, we only have, a couple million in funding. And it's just like night and day. These people are different stratospheres of the world. These people don't even have a product yet, and they have, all this money and funding that they're freaked out that they're going to spend, versus these people over here are like, all right, I still got to pay my rent, but I want to put some money towards my business and invest in that. It is crazy. But again, education and access, it gets us every time. Some other things to think about that are challenges for us is networking challenges, because traditionally, not a lot of networking was really targeted to men, whether it was businessmen, whether it was like corporate men. Like, I remember when I was first starting out, and I was really struggling with, like, what does my hair need to look like for me to be successful? What does my outfit look like? Because again, I'm navigating the world of business as a Black woman, and this was about 6-7 years ago. That's crazy. It's been almost a decade. But yeah, when I was first coming in, I was really struggling to be like, how do I get into these rooms, right? In the rooms where things were happening. And one of my good friends was like, hey, you might have to go golfing, or you may have to go to the bar, because men, they do business over drinks. They do business, on the golf course, right? In the cigar lounge. And if I want to connect with these people, I might have to go there, even though that's not where I like to network. And sometimes that's true to this day, that yes, sometimes we have to go into places that we don't necessarily comfortably fit in the space, but we go because we have to, so that we can make the connections we want to make. But luckily also the world is shifting, and there has been a shift where women can still connect with men and other women to make business connections outside of those traditional boys kind of clubs, because they're not always the most comfortable. There's so many conversations that you hear that are like yuck. You know what I mean? Just yuck. But you're there because you're there on a mission. You're there to get access to opportunities that you might not otherwise have access to, right? Like there are people who you might want to be your mentors or collaborators with, who are movers and shakers in your industry, but they're men and they don't want to go for a coffee chat, right? They don't want to have tea or go for brunch. They want to go to the cigar lounge. And so where do you go? You go to the cigar lounge and you hold a cigar in your mouth, even though you don't smoke, or you go sit at the bar late at night, or hey, I don't care if you got a strip club, wherever you got to go, you go. Keep your values in place, but you go and get those connections and do what you have to do. But again, as women, I don't think men feel the same. I don't think there's many spaces where they don't feel comfortable enough to go and do business. Versus women, sometimes we have to decide what's worth us dealing with or being uncomfortable for, to be in these rooms, right? To be in these spaces, to have those opportunities. But again, I always have to look at it as the glass half full. There are so many amazing women led spaces now, whether it be online or in person, where we ain't got to do that, where we can be really comfortable. Last year, I got to go to an event and I was like, this feels crazy. Not only was it a women's centered event, but it was a I had got home, I was like, well, I'm home. This feels nice. This feels nice. Like everybody gets it. Everybody's, it's when men get together, sometimes you feel this like, who's the alpha dog type of feel in the room. But it was so cool for it to be like, hey, girl, like cheering for each other, crying together, working together. It's just a different vibe. So I don't want you to think that you have to be uncomfortable to be successful. Again, we have to be honest and look at all the different levels. If we go into these spaces, this is what we see. This is what we keep an eye out for. This is what we're trying to get. But luckily, there are some amazing spaces curated by amazing women for women that we can also take advantage of, and we should be taking advantage of. If you're still out here in 2024 doing business all alone in your lonesome in your house with the lights off, like come on into the light. Come hang with a sister girl. That's one of the reasons why I have my own community, because I wanted a place where people could connect and network and not have this feeling of like, ugh, or like, I don't want to deal with this. Another challenge I think women face is, and it's hard to pinpoint because it's almost like microaggressions. Like you gotta actually, like, it's a feeling versus like blatantly in your face. But unfortunately, still in 2024, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon, there's a bit of an undermining when it comes to women, that men, sometimes it seems that men have more authority, right? They have more credibility in the business space. And that's sometimes just bull crap. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. Sometimes it's bull crap. And I'm not saying men are not as capable, not saying that at all. I think that men and women are just as capable, just as knowledgeable, just as worthy as having that authority and credibility. But sometimes when you see a woman, well, when some people, I should say, because when I see a woman, I see power. But sometimes when people see a woman and then maybe they see a man, and they both sell the same thing, they gravitate towards a man. And what I will say to this is, and I had to learn this the hard way, who is for us is for us. And I've said that many times. Yes, it sucks. Okay. Because again, I'm going to be real. Yes, it sucks. And it's some bull. But who is for you is for you. Don't stress about that. Like that's the least of our worries. Because I used to try to be like, okay, I can work with men, and I still can. Sometimes there's some really cool guys that I get to work with, and they don't have like an ego and a chip on their shoulder. They're just cool dudes. Yes, I'll work with them. But for the majority of the people I work with, they're women, and I'm cool with that. I think sometimes we fight for something that ain't necessarily need to be, fought for. If people can't see that we are an expert, if they can't see our greatness, I'm not here to convince people. I'm here to show up as me, right? Show up as Corey authentically. You should show up as you because you are enough. And that should be it. That's a period at that. What the kids say, period. That's it. And if people can't see your greatness, and if they can't see your authority, and if they think that you need a counterpart, a man behind you to co-sign what you're saying, then they're not for you. Because believe me, if they're struggling to see you now, when they get behind closed doors and they paid you, they're gonna be up your butt, second guessing you the whole time, and nobody needs that drama, right? So yes, it's something that we face. Yes, it's a barrier. We're gonna name it, but then we're gonna move on from it and say, hey, either they're gonna work with us or they're not. Either they're gonna see my greatness or they're not. Either they're ready to move on with me or they're not, and that is okay. All right. So with that being said, there are some other barriers that aren't necessarily gender focused, but are barriers to your success when it comes to business. And I just wanted to name them. We'll go through them quickly because I don't want to have you too long. Again, if you're watching, whether you are watching live or replay, let me know. Tell me hello. Let me know what barriers you've been facing, because y'all, it's real out here in these streets. One barrier that I actually felt like I faced early on was an age barrier. So for some of you who are younger or older, you may be facing that barrier. I was on a I was on a podcast, then he came to my podcast. One of the things he said to me was he's been in the game for a really, really long time, and he's found now that he's on the other side that younger people don't find him as credible because they think he's so old that he's out of date. Right? He wasn't. He's really cool. Some people are out of date, but he was really cool. That's why we had him on the podcast. But he said that, and I thought about it because when I first started out, I felt like people might have thought I was too young and I didn't know enough. And so, yes, if you are on the earlier years or the latter part, maybe you're more seasoned, sometimes that's a barrier you might have to get past to show that you are still with the times, right? You're still with it. You're still in the prime of your game. Something else that is sometimes a barrier. People just have biases around it. Your color, your accent. Like, let's get real. What you look like is a thing. People always like to act like they don't see with their eyes, but they do. And it definitely changes it. Everybody has unconscious biases. I'm just going to put it out there. So they sometimes can impede or slow down your progress. Again, just noting what is for you is for you, who is for you is for you, is going to keep you focused. Don't focus on the people that you can't win over. It's not your job. Focus on what you can do. I went through a little space where I had a coach who did not look like me, who was giving me advice that did not work for me because, it'd be like, oh, take a picture with your dog. Yes, it's cute when a blonde head skinny lady in a linen outfit takes a picture with her dog. It is cute. I've seen it. She showed examples. I see it all the time. They get all these likes and follows. Me with my black self, with my cute dogs, even my kids. Yes, my friends, my peoples will like it, but it's nowhere near the same because for some reason seeing a black woman with her dog and kids doesn't give you the same heart cuddly bubbles to the general public as the white lady that has the blonde hair, right? And so sometimes we just have to be understanding of like that strategy just may not work for us because again, people see with their eyes, they have unconscious biases, and that's just what it is. I'm sure that's the same when it comes to men, a black man and a white man, or what have you. I can't speak to other ethnicities because I'm not one of them, but I'm sure there are other barriers when it comes to just surface level what you look like. And for my black women, let me just quickly stop for a second and say, do not worry about what your hair looks like. I'm just gonna throw it out here. You're like, girl, but you got a wig on. I like wigs though. I do. I used to really struggle with that. Again, I had a coach who was like, show up the same every time, but I like to change my hair, and I am black. And we change our hair all the time. Sometimes I want to wear braids, right? The summertime, we don't want to do hair. We're going to wear braids. Sometimes we wear wigs. Sometimes we wear, extensions. Sometimes I wear my natural hair in a bun. Sometimes I wear it out in a twist out. Do what you want. Do what you want with your face and your hair and your makeup and your lashes and your nails. Do what you want. Because again, people are either gonna like it or they're not, and that's their business. That's their problem. It's their challenge, not yours. Um, I was at a speaking engagement once, and people who knew me, like people who are not black, I should say, knew me, who had met me before, who knew me, did not recognize me because my hair was different. It was the craziest thing to me. I was like, that it like my face did not change, but they're like, oh my God, I didn't recognize you. And it's a thing. And it's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep introducing myself. So if you see me next time, matter of fact, next time you see me, I will have different hair. It's already been bought, it's here, it's just ready to be put on my head. You will see me different, and that is okay, right? All right, I went on a tangent. Let's get back to it. I had a message in my soul right there because I just don't want people freaking out trying to look mainstream or a certain type of way. You feel like you can't go live because your hair is not straight. You can't go live because you need this, that, and the other. Like, no, come as you, and it'll be fine. Um, Other barriers that we have to business: lack of knowledge. If for some reason you feel like you do not have the knowledge to grow your business, right, for whatever reason, maybe you don't know the tech, maybe you don't understand how business works, maybe you don't understand your numbers, don't let that be a barrier. If you know what you need, go out and find it. If you're not sure what you need, start doing some research, right? That SWOT analysis is a great start. Doing your business plan and seeing what parts you're struggling with. And then if you are really struggling, get yourself a business fundamentals business coach. Every business coach is not the same. They don't specialize in the same thing. If you're really struggling on the basics, find somebody who focuses on the basics. If you're struggling with scaling, find somebody who scales. If you're struggling with marketing, somebody who markets, sales, branding. Their list goes on and on. Find somebody who specializes in that to support you so that you can get your knowledge up and get your skill set up. Not knowing is not an excuse because the knowledge is there. We live in a time where if you want to know it, you can find that information, right? If you're struggling, a barrier is exposure, right? You're like, I'm doing all the things, but nobody knows I exist. Get your butt out here. Get out here with the big dogs. Pitch yourself for speaking engagement. Pitch yourself for podcasts. Go to networking events and introduce yourself, right? We have to actually go out here and do it. It can't be that old saying of if I build it, they will come. Absolutely not. They won't come. It's not enough SEO in the world to sustain you, and they're just gonna come. You have to be on the offense and go out and let people know about your business. Talk of your business. Give out business cards. Host your own events. If you're like, I really want to be a speaker, but I for some reason can't book my first speaking event, host your own event. Make yourself the keynote speaker. Put it on a flyer. Record it. There you go. Now you've had your first start. And when you go off to the next person, you can say, hey, here's me at this past event. Go out here and do it. Engagement. You're like, people ain't talking to me. Well, go out and talk to people. Have conversation, whether it's in person or virtual. If y'all don't get in these people DMs and reach out and talk to them, I'm not saying be spammy, but talk to folk. If you're just sitting at home and being like, nobody's talking to me, I'm not getting any engagement, boo, I don't know what to tell you. You got to go say something to somebody. You got to talk to them. Okay. If you're sitting here saying my challenge is I need help, right? I need support. Maybe you are trying to scale, but you need staff. You need an assistant. You need virtual assistants. You need setters. You need closers. You need a whole marketing team. Whatever you need, go out and get it, right? And you may have to do it in parts, but go out and get it. You may say, hey, I really need a mentor. I just spoke last week to some high schoolers, and I was explaining to them that they've been mentored their whole lives. They have teachers who mentor them. They've had coaches to mentor them if they're in sports. They've had teachers to mentor them, parents, pastors, other clergy. Like they've had people to mentor them. So as they enter the business world, because I was speaking on entrepreneurship, I was like, go out and find yourself a mentor. Reach out to folk. Say, hey, I see what you're doing. I would love to, help out. I have pitched myself to go to conferences and just help. Like, do you guys need help? Because I just want to see the behind the scenes. Like I've done that. I've done that with clients. I've done that with just regular people. I'm like, hey, I'd love to just come and help you. Because I know if I'm in the background helping, I can see how things are being done. Right. I can show that I'm of some value and they don't mind talking to me and giving me some nuggets, in exchange. But you got to go out here and go for it, because I get some people aren't in the financial place where they can just throw out money at a coach. I get it. But coaches are worth the investment. If you can't, reach out, start getting a mentor, start going to stuff, paying attention, taking notes where you can. But eventually, yes, invest in a coach to support you if that's also a need that you have. And I do think that if you ask any coach that's ever been successful, they're going to tell you they had a coach, because nobody does this thing alone. So again, know what you want, go out and get it. And then last but not least, guys, because I've been talking about all these barriers that we as women and as business people face, be a part of the solution. Sorry, there's a little siren going by, but be a part of the solution. When you hire people, make sure you are hiring women. Don't be forgetting about us. I'm not saying only hire women. I'm not saying, because people be like, well, you need to hire the best candidate. There are plenty qualified women candidates. Let's be real. But make sure you are hiring some women. I'm not saying everybody, but some women, right? If you're sitting here saying it ain't fair, ain't nobody trying to work with me and I'm a woman, but you only have men working for you, what in the world is that? So make sure you have women that, you employ if you can. Make sure that you also, if at all possible, are also make sure you have clients that are women. Again, I don't have to be all of them, but make sure you helping us out too. When you are doing networking things, make sure that you find places to network with women, or you provide a space for women to network, whether it's an inclusive space where women can feel comfortable, or if it's just a space specifically for women, do so. Create that. And then make sure that you are networking and encouraging your peers, right? Because you all know we're going through these challenges together. Let's lift each other up. Let's be a part of the solution, not the problem. Don't go and try to take down the next person, whether they do what you do or not, because that's your fellow woman. Like, make sure that we are just trying to be of help, right? I was on a call today to do business with somebody. I was putting money in their pockets. And one of the things she said was, hey, I'm gonna be transparent. I think we have a little bit of overlap in what we do. I just want to be cool. I was like, girl, it's fine. You do this part I don't do, and I need your help. Like, give me the numbers. Give me the numbers. I'm not in competition with nobody but myself. And so we have to get out of that competitor mindset. I hate watching like TV shows and movies where women are like, yeah, 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 you know what I mean? Where they're just trying to take each other down. They're fighting over the man. It's just, no. Let's uplift each other. Let's be the positivity that we all need. Let's lift each other on our backs. Let's not gatekeep. Let's share and support one another, because it's already hard enough out here. We've already talked about all the barriers and challenges. It's hard enough out here. Let's do great things together. So with that in mind, guys, thank you for this talk. For those of you who did not know, we actually have a new coaching program that launched at the beginning of this month. It's called the Action Accelerator Academy. It's actually a space for women. Yes, women only, women coaches who are ready to take action. We are looking for 20 ready to go, amazing women coaches. And these women will be put into what's essentially a hybrid coaching program for a year. They have access to a toolkit that's great, whether they're just starting a business, whether they're growing their business, or whether they're trying to scale. It has sections in there. It has master classes. We actually have some upcoming master classes. It also has guides, tools, templates, and additional training sessions. With that, they also get group coaching sessions and group Q&As. But the whole point of this academy is for you guys to take action. And if anybody's worked with me already, they know I am not going to let you just sit around, right? I'm not going to let you and your mindset keep you from progressing. I'm like, get it done. I had a coaching client today, and I was like, you gonna get it done, right? She was like, yes. I was like, this week, right? She was like, yes, because I get it. We want to stay in our little bubble. We want to stay in our comfort zone, but that doesn't move us forward. And so sometimes, yes, we have to be uncomfortable, but sometimes it takes a little friend to kind of nudge or push us where we need to go. And so that's what my team and I do, is we really hold you guys accountable, but we give you the tools and the resources you need. So we're not going to just tell you to go do it and leave you to struggle. We're going to tell you to do it. We're going to tell you how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. We're going to hold your hand as you do it, and we're going to get it done. So if you're ready to get it done, definitely go to that link. It's also in the description of this live. Take advantage now, because we are accepting applications. When this group is full, it is full. So definitely don't miss out, because space is limited. But go ahead, apply now. We're looking for the people who are truly ready. That's why there's an application versus like our good old consultation calls, because we're only going to be accepting people who seem ready to go. And it doesn't matter what stage of business you are. It's a mentality and it's an understanding that this is about taking action. We don't want this year to look like last year, whether last year was okay, good, or great. We want this year to be a phenomenal year, a transformative year, a year that you couldn't have ever imagined. And we can only do that if you are ready to go. So definitely take advantage of that. Um, if you have questions, comments, concerns, definitely let us know. If you go to that link, it actually takes you to the landing page that gives you a big, a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up for you guys real quick. It actually goes into detail about the program. So it doesn't just take you to the application. I want people to understand what the program is and how it works. Matter of fact, let me share my screen so you can see it. Let's see here. Good old technology. Let's see. All right. So, and I'll put it on the screen for you guys. There it goes. All right, so it'll take you to this landing page. So you actually can learn about the program. You can see the program overview, the goals and the benefits. You can understand how the program actually works, what's included, what's in the toolkit, because I know that matters as well. And it has, like I said, those different levels for people starting, people running their business, and then people that are ready to scale. And then we also have testimonials you can read, along with an FAQ section where I hope I've answered most of the questions you might have about the program. We also talk very blatantly about the pricing. I want you to understand the enrollment. I want you to understand the investment. The purpose of this program is we try to make it as affordable as possible for you. We totally understand that the word affordable is subjective, but my team and I really worked very hard to make sure that we did not make access the issue. And so we do have 2 payment options available for those interested and ready to go. So you definitely can peruse that information. And then there's even more. It talks about our company. You can learn more about me and my story. And hopefully this will give you, like I said, most, if not all, the information you need to feel comfortable before you go ahead and apply. Applications does not mean you're in the program. Application means you're considered for the program. All right. But hopefully that answers most of your questions. I look forward to seeing the women in the program. I'm really excited about this for sure. It's always cool launching a new product, but it's even more exciting to see people progress. I've really been enjoying the clients I've had this year so far. Like even a client that I had last year that now is this year, you can tell there's just a different mentality. She's making bigger and faster moves, and we're both able to see her progress. It's just like, yes, goosebumps. But guys, I'm going to stop talking, because if not, I'm just going to keep talking all night. So remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and we will see you, even though next week will be a recording. Still come check it out. It'll air at 6 p.m. Be on the lookout for the podcast, and I will CC you along with the Q&A sessions the second week in April. So have a great Easter, great April Fool's Day, all this stuff, right? And I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys. In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to iRock Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why iRock offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At iRock, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions. Are you a service-based small business owner, juggling multiple roles and constantly racing against the clock? Make iRock Marketable Business Solution your trusted business partner in achieving business success. We understand the unique challenges you face in managing your business. That's why we offer a range of virtual assistant services tailored just for you. Our virtual assistants are skilled, dedicated, and ready to lighten your workload. Imagine having a partner who can handle your social media management, data entry, and travel plans. Picture a team that creates engaging video content for your audience. Think about never worrying about administrative tasks again. With iRock, you don't just save time, you gain peace of mind. Our virtual assistants are like an extension of your business, allowing you to focus on what you do best. Join the countless small business owners who have elevated their businesses with our VA services. Ready to take the next step towards business success? Discover how we can make your business journey smoother. Unlock the full potential of your business with iRock Marketable Business Solution.